Okay, so I know I said that I would start this video off by talking about the massive post I made the other day on YouTube, but I'm gonna save that for the outro for the people who really don't care and don't want to listen to me rant for a little while. If you do care though, stick around and enjoy the video. Now then, with that being said, on with the show! Hello everyone, I'm your host Calpart, and welcome back to Ranked, the series where I rank stuff. Today on the chopping block, Friday Night Funkin', Wednesday's Infidelity. About time I got to this mod. Little fun fact to open up this video, but this was supposed to be the first ranking of Series 2. Unfortunately, Mr.
I'm not gonna kill you.
decided to come along and ruin all of that. But still, this mod is easily one of the best aging mods in my opinion, having 20 really fun songs, and Clubhouse, each filled with incredible art, solid charting, and some really fun mechanics. Despite the fact that this mod is going to be 3 years old this summer, I still think a lot of these songs really hold up, having some of the best this community has to offer. That being said, yeah, a fair chunk of these songs haven't aged particularly well, so while there's a lot to love from this mod, the lows can be pretty low. Before we get into that though, I need to specify something. I am not ranking anything that is not 100% in the mod. That means no corpse, no scrapped remixes, no hippity hop, none of that. Everything in the mod is fair game though, such as the aforementioned Clubhouse and the 3 covers that did make it in. With that all being said, there is one F tier starting us off, and it's probably not what most of you were expecting. Unless you know me. Then it is exactly what you were expecting. Number 21, Cravings. I do not like this song. At all. Yay. The Cheddar's song and Wednesday's Infidelity are by far the weakest part of the mod, and that's including the cover songs. Like, we'll get to most of those very shortly, but this song is so bad, man. If I had to compliment one thing, one little thing, I guess the vocals are handled fine enough, I guess? Boyfriend sounds decent, and Cheddar sure does exist. I don't hate his chromatic, it just does nothing for me. It also sounds bad sometimes in the song, which just makes it drag on and on. The melodies have an interesting idea, being a twisted-like version of It's a Small World, which, while it kind of works in Hunger Pangs, this is just not it. But all that, it's fine. Sure, it's got a lot of problems, but that seems a little harsh for an F tier, right? Like, for a song to be an F tier, it has to be really, really bad. Well, it's a good thing that the instrumental just doesn't exist for, like, no reason. Like, who thought this was a good idea? There is just nothing there. There is no instrumental. It is so empty, and due to the vocals not really being able to cover up that fact, this song just feels completely empty and like a waste of time. I seriously do not like this song at all. And again, I don't like being this negative in videos, but this song deserves it. It is the worst song that I have covered in a while. Like, just listen to Hunger Pangs instead of this, please. Number 20, Accelerant. Alrighty, so, in Wednesday's Infidelity, there are 3 cover songs, and cover songs and mods are almost always entirely dependent on whether or not you like the bass version of the song. And due to that, I have very mixed opinions on these 3. This one, though, just straight up sucks, and it's not even close. Like, this is unironically worse than Bass Accelerant. I'll save Accelerant's problems for when I eventually get around to ranking online verses, but as for how this remix somehow made it worse, they slowed it down. They killed the pacing of a fast song. How do you even do that? Also, while I love Mickey's chromatic from this mod, using it in this scenario just doesn't sound very good, and Donald is just a worse version of Mickey's chromatic, so it has the exact same issues. Like, at least the instrumental is okay here. Like, this is a D tier, so it has something to it. It's not great, heck, it's not even really all that good, but at least it has an instrumental. I'm still looking at you, Cravings! Honestly, just kind of a train wreck of a remix. At least the death notes are still kind of intact. I still don't really care for them, but at least it's still here properly. Alright, enough about Accelerant. I genuinely might get a migraine if I talk about this song any longer. Number 19, Last Day. End my suffering, please. Last Day is one of the 2 Diverging Paths songs. Yeah, Wednesday's Infidelity has a good and bad ending. Unfortunately, unlike Sunsets, this is just kinda awful. It tries to go for this hopeless, I've got nothing left to live for feel to it, but it ends up just feeling really empty. Mickey's chromatic sounds bad for the majority of the song. Boyfriend is just as bad, if not worse. Both have a sort of shaky feeling to it that kills the vocals for me, and there isn't that much going on with the instrumental that is particularly appealing either. However, with all of that said, I think on very few occasions, like the very beginning, Mickey can sometimes get that hopeless feeling across enough to put it above Accelerant. Is it a good song by any means? No, not at all. But I would far prefer listening to this than Accelerant or Cravings, which is good enough for me. It also gets a slight pass since it is really just a prelude to Hellhole, which, don't worry, we'll get to in due time. But for now, we've still got quite a few mid-songs to get through. Number 18, Battered. Yay, we finally made it to C tier. I mean, at least these songs are semi-good. Yay, I guess. Battered is better than Accelerant. It still has the same problem with Mickey's chromatic being kinda bad here, but at least this time it doesn't give me a headache to sit through. I also think the melodies can be pretty catchy to listen to, so this song at least has something. This song just doesn't really do anything for me. I can definitely see why someone would like it, it's just not particularly something I can get into. Heck, I haven't even heard the original version of Battered, so I can't even compare the two and see if this version butchered that one like Accelerant did. Mickey doing the 3-2-1 was a really neat thing to see though, I did quite enjoy hearing that. But yeah, this is just sorta okay, not really much else to say. Number 17, Clubhouse. How? Genuinely how is this barely bottom 5? This sounds like a top 10 awesome song. I don't like that this is as high as it is, I'm gonna be honest. That being said, it is this high for a reason. For one, it doesn't give me a headache like some of the other bottom spots do, so that's at least a plus. It's also obviously a complete joke, which explains why it sounds like it does. As for the music itself, I mean, it could be worse, I guess. The vocals are sometimes blatantly off-key. Mickey's chromatic is literally just him going Meeska, Mooska, Mickey Mouse, which, while a hilarious reference, is not really that fun to listen to. The instrumental sure is an instrumental that does in fact exist. Yep, definitely exists. The visuals are PNGs. This is the greatest song ever made, guys, I swear. Boyfriend honestly kinda sounds alright though. He's able to carry the song out of D tier, although thinking back, I'm still tempted to put this below Battered and into D tier. Yeah, it's funnier if it's here anyways. Beyond that, yeah, this song sure is one that does in fact exist, and I mean, I don't hate it. So, yeah, Clubhouse. Meeska indeed. Number 16, Carnival in Toyland. Alrighty, we're finally done with the songs in the bottom 5, which means I still don't really change much because we've still got 2 more songs left before we get to start talking about the good stuff. Yay, how fun! Carnival in Toyland is just kind of boring. Like, it doesn't really do anything wrong, it's just such a whatever song for me. The instrumental is fine, Boyfriend sounds fine, and Julian, yeah, he has a bad chromatic. Yeah, I don't really like Julian's chromatic for this mod. It's not headache-inducing, but it does kind of hold back any song from being too high. Beyond that, the rest is fine. The art in the song is pretty good, and the chart is pretty boring to play. It really is just Julian that holds it back for me. Now we've only got 1 song that I don't really like left, and honestly, I'm kinda shocked it's as high as it is. Number 15, Hunger Pangs. This is such a mixed bag song for me. Like, on one hand, it's got massive flaws, but on the other hand, there are some really good parts here. The majority of this song is basically just, what if we made Cravings, but it was actually good this time? Cheddar sounds infinitely better here, Boyfriend is about as good as he is in the previous song, and there's actually an instrumental? Granted, it's still a little more empty than I would like it to be. However, since the vocals are much more prominent and the turns have a lot more going on, the instrumental being a little empty isn't nearly as big of an issue. Also a fun little bonus, that makes the chart fun as well. The twisted It's a Small World idea is also way better here, with a really eerie sounding version of it in a nice sounding minor key. Honestly, this song just impresses me for being a fun Cheddar song. So then why exactly is it in C tier? Well, I'm glad you asked! The beginning and ending in Hunger Pangs is so bad, like, oh my god, you had something amazing, why did you ruin it, Cheddar? The opening of the song has Cheddar singing by himself with almost no instrumental and slowly, which is just... no! And this opening interlude is almost 30 seconds! Not to mention it's still another 15 or so before Boyfriend starts singing, which is a big problem for a song that's less than 3 minutes. And then they do it again at the end! It's slow again, but at least this time Boyfriend gets to sing. The last 30 seconds or so is just a piano slowly fading away though. Okay, that's awesome, thanks song. It's honestly such a shame, because if the beginning and ending were fixed, we would have a really good song here. But because almost half the dang song is just an empty mess, yeah, this one unfortunately is dragged down to C tier. Number 14, Sunsets. This is a pretty underrated song in my opinion, since I always see this one put super low on a lot of tier lists. Like, yeah, sure, it's nothing incredible, but it's leagues above its counterpart Last Day. This song is just kinda nice. It's a really laid-back, happy-feeling song, again being a precursor to Versiculous. And it gives off that exact feeling it's going for, being a fake out in the story, trying to trick the player into thinking it's actually over. Is it a little short? Yeah. Does it have some similar issues like Boyfriend being mixed a little quiet? Also, yeah. But the vibe makes me really like this one for some reason. This is also the first time I've gotten to talk about Mickey's bass chromatic, and while this is by far the weakest use of it in the mod, I still think it fits him really well and sounds pretty good. Unfortunately, because of the problems I listed earlier, yeah, this one still ranks as low as B. Still an incredibly underrated song though. Number 13, Wistfulness. Guys, look! It's everyone's favorite public domain mouse, Steamboat Willie! He's even whistling his favorite tune from the public domain short film! Isn't this wild? I sure do love Mousetrap, it's such a good movie! Sure am glad it exists! Anyways, Wistfulness. This song is almost verbatim what I said for the last one. It's short, overall a little bland, but I still really like the vibe it goes for. It's a really solid opener to the mod, setting an overall uneasy tone, with the Steamboat Willie theme that everyone knows and loves, but just a bit more unsettling. The whistling chromatic is nice, Boyfriend sounds good here, the instrumental is as simple as it needs to be, everything here is just pretty good. Again though, it is a pretty short song, and everything above it does things much better. I figured now would be a good time to just quickly talk about the art from the mod. It's almost always amazing, fitting the old cartoony style while still getting across that unsettling and creepy tone a mod based on Suicide Mouse needed. So yeah, overall, a really solid song and a really great opening. If only there was a second song in the week that followed Wistfulness up really well. Number 12, Dejection. Dejection is a really good song. The main week of Wednesday's Infidelity is really good at portraying different feelings per song. Like, Wistfulness was a good and unsettling opener, Sunsets was a nice laid-back song that portrayed a happy feeling, and Last Day helped convey the feeling of anger and depression into my body every time I listen to it because it's an awful song! Dejection shows the feeling of Mickey losing control, slowly becoming a monster. This is done through very subtle changes through the song, like the song getting more chaotic and Mickey's chromatic merging with the insane one used in Unknown Suffering. It's a really cool thing for a song to do, and it's luckily followed through well by the following couple of songs. I just think that the beginning is a little too slow-paced for me to really get into this one. Like, it's not a bad song by any means, and I can definitely see how someone would adore it, but I personally just don't really care for it. Another thing I don't really care for here is the charting. Like, yeah, it's serviceable, and the spam sections help convey the whole going insane thing well. It's just not particularly a fun chart to play, you know? But yeah, that's honestly about it. Just a really good song to listen to. And that already in number 12? Yeah, the top half of this mod makes sitting through the bad songs 100% worth it. Number 11, Spring March. I find it both odd to put this one below top 10, but also completely reasonable. Like with Hunger Pangs, this is basically just what if we did Carnival in Toyland again, but actually good this time. The instrumental is so much more fun and full of life, the saxophone and overall swing-like vibe this song goes for rocks. Boyfriend's chromatic is also quite enjoyable to hear, which is just really quickly something I wanted to commend the mod for. Like, Boyfriend almost always sounds great in this mod, which is really nice. It's mostly just that I still don't like Julian's chromatic all too much. It's just about as well as it possibly could be in this song, and maybe it'll grow with me in time, but I don't know, man. Something about it just doesn't sit right with me. Still, this song is amazing and a vast improvement on Carnival in Toyland. Although, really quickly, just wanted to shout out Hippity Hop, which was a scrapped Julian song. This is honestly better than Spring March for me. The instrumental is more fast-paced, Julian sounds just as good, if not better, than in Spring March, and Boyfriend is amazing. Such a charming song, shame that it was scrapped. Although again, Spring March is still pretty serviceable. Number 10, Cremant. Alright, let me explain myself. I know that there are probably quite a few of you that are very confused at how this song is in the top 10, especially above songs like Spring March and Dejection. And yeah, this song definitely has a big problem that I need to address. Both sections definitely start to drag a bit, specifically the second half. It definitely holds the song back for me, and I totally get hating the song for it. But yeah, no, I still adore every other aspect of this song. Moki unironically has a good chromatic, Boyfriend still sounds really good in the song, and the instrumental is good for both sections. The first half is a little slow, but the nice sounding chromatics and decent enough instrumental gets you through without it feeling too slow. And then the second half? Yeah, sure, it might drag a little bit, but my god! Moki's chromatic sounds amazing here, and the melodies are so freaking good, man. Some of the best in the entire mod by far. And this instrumental? Seriously, if it weren't for the just okay first half and the overall dragging issue, this song would seriously be high S, maybe even S+ for me. And for a joke song about Moki? Yeah, no, this has no right to be as good as it is. Now, what could possibly be right above something this good? Well, it's definitely the other song that I'm sure you've been waiting to see, because I know a lot of people are probably gonna get really mad at me for this one being as high as it is, but I don't care. Number 9, Too Slow Encore. Is this kind of cheating? Yeah, probably. But I did say earlier that your enjoyment of the covers was entirely dependent on how much you liked these bass songs. And spoiler alert, if I do decide to do an EXE ranked, I really like Too Slow Encore. And this is literally just that song, but with Mickey's chromatic, which I like infinitely more than Sonic.exe's chromatic. The new monologue section also fits Suicide Mouse well, so yeah, this does everything a good cover should do. Make the vocals better and reshape the song to fit the mod it's in while not ruining what made the original version so good. Now, that's not to say this is a perfect cover. The instrumental was barely, if at all, changed, and I wish that they had replaced some of the EXE melodies with the strong melodies from this mod, but still, it's just a fun time. So sue me, I like Too Slow Encore for Wednesday's Infidelity. It may be kind of lazy, but the whole point is to be fun to listen to, and I like listening to this song a whole lot. Last thing of note, all the different forms Mickey goes through in this song is really cool to see from an art perspective. A cover like this did not need that much effort, but it clearly shows how much they cared, and I really respect that. But yeah, that's about it. Moving on. Number 8, Unknown Suffering. The song that everyone knows from this mod. Like, even if you have no clue what Wednesday's Infidelity even is, you still have probably heard this song. And for good reason, this one is really good. It's again all about that emotion that the song is able to show, starting with an uneasy start that makes you know something is about to go down, and go down it does. Mickey's insane chromatic is used insanely well in this mod, having quite literally no bad use cases. And no, the two covers we talked about at the start don't count, hate those songs, get them out of here! Another notable thing is the melodies used in this song. They're not only super memorable, but they're used everywhere in this mod, which I love. Like, a majority of the songs in this mod use many of the melodies present in the song, so much so that it's sometimes even used outside of the mod. And for good reason, they're super catchy. But yeah, there is something holding this song back, obviously. For the most part, the song's instrumental is really good. I just think that around the middle of the song, it gets a little bland. Like, it's just basic drums and a couple other things. I just wish there was a little bit more going on. It definitely makes the middle not hit as hard as it could. That fake-out ending with the more dramatic feeling is on point, though. A seriously incredible ending to the song. And yes, I now must fulfill my contractual obligation to say go listen to the V3 of this song. It fixes all the problems, makes everything that was already good even better, and would easily be the best song of this mod if it counted. But it never got added, so whoops, sorry y'all. Unknown Suffering is stuck in 8th place. Last quick thing about the song, dodge mechanics. Don't we all just love them? Yeah, there's one in this song, and it's fine enough. I really like that it doesn't just drain your health like almost every other one does. Instead, missing the dodge makes your notes spread apart, which is a really cool gimmick. Beyond that though, it's just another fun dodge mechanic. Helps round out the song though, making Unknown Suffering a really fun listen. Number 7, Vasania. Man, this song gets so overshadowed in the mod. Like, it's already an extra song, and its competition is one of the best joke songs ever, an incredible D-sides version of an already amazing song, and Ligma. Yeah, this one is usually forgotten about, which sucks, man. I love this one. This song is super catchy, mostly because of the swing, baby, let's go! Have you caught on yet that I really like swing? Because I do. But yeah, the swing helps this song just be a jam, especially the piano in the instrumental. The vocals are pretty good too, not amazing mind you, but still pretty good. My one tiny little issue here is that this song is just a little repetitive for me. I love the melodies, but they can definitely be overused in the song. But who cares? Part of this song uses Megalovania sound fonts, let's go! That's about it. Just a really good song. Doesn't do a lot, but simple is definitely not bad. Number 6, Unknown Defeat. Oh, versus Imposter. It's been 2 years and you're still haunting me to this day. And it's a shame too, because I can't even insult you. Both Imposter songs in this mod are incredible. I've already talked about this song before due to Imposter Ranked, but that entry kinda sucked because I barely talked about the song musically. Okay, cool, awesome. That video is horribly outdated, so let me just give my new thoughts real quick. This song is sort of what a mix between Unknown Suffering and Defeat would be, and I think it does that extremely well. The rock instrumental goes really hard, Boyfriend sounds great, and black. Despite the fact that this mod has some amazing original chromatics, I'm gonna just annoy everyone right now and say that black is the best chromatic from the mod. Sorry not sorry, I just love how this dumb bean sounds so much. Hearing Defeat's melodies is also super nice, and they blend well with Unknown Sufferings. The only thing making this just a regular S instead of S+ for me is just the beginning. Again, it's definitely not bad, but it's not the greatest thing ever. And yes, like I talked about in Imposter Ranked, these visuals still rock. It's just an amazing mix between two already great songs, combining to be better than both in my opinion. Number 5, Versiculus Erratus. Top tier time, baby! And starting us out, Versicular... Erratus is a really good song. Coming back to the main week's whole emotion thing, this song has a feeling of desperation, with Mickey fighting for his life against
Eyeshadow, it's me, the devil.
It's such a climactic showdown, and you can really feel the emotion in it all. Mickey getting to use both his normal and insane chromatics is fun, but the real star of the show is the devil. He sings in only 3 songs, and if you've been paying attention, you'll know that this is the first of those 3 songs that we've seen so far. Yeah, I really like his chromatic. There's not really even any particular reason I like it, it's just a really fitting and nice sounding chromatic. The melodies here are nice too, with a sad opening leading into a desperate fight. This and number 4 were extremely close to be honest, so much so that I flip-flopped constantly while writing both of these entries. But I finally came up with one tiny thing to put this one behind number 4. The ending isn't the most fitting way to end something like this. I feel like repeating the first melody again, while a somewhat nice way to end the song, should have been something more intense like a massive run. It's still great, just not the best it could be, which is about the worst critique an S+ song can even have. But speaking of, what is the song that beat this one? Number 4, Leekma. Fun fact about this song, one of the leakers is Sling Mingo. That is not a joke. He has been here since the beginning of time, and I don't know how to feel about that. Anyways, Leekma. And yes, I'm calling it Leekma, not the full name. Fight me, chat. But yeah, this one is definitely the catchy pick of the mod. It is just pure fun, mostly thanks to the all-powerful swing, baby, let's go! It's just such a fun song, man. You can tell they had a lot of fun making it. There's just so much to talk about here. The chromatics are all great. I've already gone in detail about both Mickey and the Devil, but the two leakers also have surprisingly good vocals here. The instrumental is amazing, with the swing feel being brought out with stuff like the trumpets, and then my personal favorite part of the song, the dialogue. I always love when characters just start speaking in the middle of a song. It adds a whole lot of character to it all, and the way it's done in Leekma is one of the prime examples of why. Mickey and the Devil just trashing on the leakers like they're these subhuman creatures is so funny to me. Also, can't forget about my boy Oswald at the end getting the kill. Don't worry, we'll be hearing from him soon enough. There really aren't that many problems with this one, it's just that the next three have something that makes me like them just a little bit more. Still, an amazing swing song. Number 3, Hellhole. This is another case of a song that used to be number 1, but over time got overthrown. It's honestly still really close though, I can see this one becoming number 1 again very easily, but the next two just have something about them that is incredible to me at this moment. Hellhole is still easily the best song of the main weekend, it's not even close though. Being the final song of the bad route, it's kind of the exact opposite of Versiculous. That song went for a desperate feeling with Mickey still having a hope to escape, but this song is hopeless. Mickey has completely lost it here, with the only one still being able to fight it being Boyfriend. This is reflected in the music, as the song is easily the most difficult of the mod, having some really tough charting at times. I still love all of these chromatics, although if there was one thing holding this song back, it's, ironically enough, the Devil. It's easily the weakest use of his chromatic, and while still pretty good, I think it's mixed a little quietly and doesn't sound the same as the other two uses. On the contrary, this is easily the best use of Mickey's insane chromatic, and with some really solid Boyfriend vocals, the good definitely outweigh the bad. Mickey also gets some new sprites to show that he's completely lost it, which just adds to the emotion this song is so good at showing. So yeah, Hellhole is an incredible song, not really much else to say about it, it's just amazing. Number 2, Needle Mouse. I apologize to all the Needle Mouse fans for putting this song below Sussa's frickin' Tugas in Imposter Ranked. I now completely get the hype, and I'm sorry for putting it as low as I did. I didn't really get to explain why it was as low as it was due to me getting hit by a frickin' car, and to be honest, that incident also made me completely forget why it was that low. Like seriously, I do not remember at all why I had it that low, so now I'm just gonna right my wrong and praise it here. Firstly, I don't really know why they used the V3 black chromatic for this song, and yet Unknown Defeat got the V4 one, but it's a really convenient situation, as I think the V3 chromatic does wonders for this song. Having all these fast runs wouldn't be nearly as satisfying if it weren't for this chromatic. Speaking of, the melodies in this song rival Leekma for being the catchiest in the whole mod, and the charting that goes along with this? Bro, I can only handle so much peak, mod, please stop. Definitely the most satisfying song to play in the whole mod. Yeah, to be honest, there isn't much else for me to add. Like, I've already talked about all the general things about this mod, like, the song sounds really good, all the chromatics, they sound really good, melodies, good, charting, art, all of it. It's great, I don't have much else to add. I know that saying this little about a second place is kind of rare, but this song is basically just a really fun and intense imposter collab that I love. Does imposter bias play into this a little bit? Maybe. But either way, this one was ranking pretty high. And also, one last thing, for those of you curious about my thoughts on Corpse, it's by far the worst of the 3 imposter ones. It's really boring, the vocals are really mid, etc, etc. I don't want to spend too long on it though, since it's not in the mod, and especially because all we have left is number 1. Number 1, Untold Loneliness. Guys, it's Wabbit season, and by god, this is an incredible rabbit. The best way of describing this is unknown suffering, but all of the problems I talked about are fixed. The instrumental is consistently incredible, I don't think the song ever gets a little too boring, and they even added some stuff to help make this one stand out from the original Unknown Suffering. The main thing is obviously the lyrics? I mean, I wouldn't really call it just normal dialogue since it goes in time with the music, but they're not exactly sung either. But whatever you want to call them, they add a ton of depth to the song. The overall lore behind Oswald in this mod is really cool too, not being able to be killed or die because he's the lucky rabbit. The emotion that was in the bass version of the song is still carried over here, but with stuff like the lyrics, a tone of desperation is also added. Oswald's chromatic is pretty good, although I don't think it is as good as the Insane Mickey chromatic, but it's fine enough for the song, especially with all the instrumental additions. The art is also top-notch as ever, specifically Oswald's animated sprites. They're so expressive and full of life, it's great stuff. Again, with Needle Mouse, there really isn't much else to say about this. There isn't a single thing that I can critique. I just love this song and think it nails what it's going for perfectly, and for that reason, it is definitely my favorite of the mod. I talked about Hunger Pangs longer than I talked about Untold Loneliness. I think that just goes to show how much harder it is to talk about something you love rather than critiquing something. Anyways, hi, hello, welcome to the end of the video. I'm gonna start this off by saying that this is going to be a longer outro than normal since I actually have to talk about something important here, so if you just came for the ranking, here is the full tier list. This mod is still great. Sure, it's a little old, but I think it holds up fairly well. Links in the description below if you want to download and play it yourself if you somehow haven't already. Beyond that, I've got nothing left to say about the mod, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see those of you who don't care about announcements in the next video. But for those of you who do need to hear this, yeah, so about the community post. After talking it over for a very long time with some friends, I will admit that I kind of overreacted about this thing. Now, I'm not saying I don't still agree with most of what I said. This community is filled with boatloads of drama and hate, and I just really don't like being associated with something like that. But at the same time, the community is also filled with a ton of love and support. Heck, some of my closest friends came from this dumb game, and I still love it so much. So no, I'm not stepping away from FNF anytime soon. Sure, taking the blow of some of my favorite mods taking hits definitely sucks, but I still think so much of this community deserves recognition, and I still care too much about this dumb beep boop game to leave. That being said, I do still plan on branching out soon. I don't want to only be known for FNF content, so expect some cool variety content in the coming months. Now that that's out of the way, what's next for Ranked? Well, since I'm not stepping away from FNF anytime soon, there are still quite a few mods I need to talk about. So, like what I did with the 3 horror mods, I'm gonna make a poll for you guys to vote in. The results will dictate what mod I cover in the near future, so make sure your vote counts. And yes, I did say the near future, because it's not the next thing I want to rank. There's something that is very special to me that I really want to rank, and I just can't wait for this one, so it's gonna be next. I don't really want to reveal anything because I want this to be a surprise, but just know it's gonna be a little bit different than your normal ranking. Still though, it's super exciting, super fun, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. But with all that said and done, if you guys did in fact enjoy this video, then why not subscribe? It helps a ton and motivates me to make more videos for you all to enjoy. Also, reminder to like, comment, turn on notifications, and check the description for some of my socials. But with all that said, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!